Well, welcome to MPC Markets Pre-Market Pulse, 25th of June, 2025. Heading on this morning, obviously, with Doves, the Dove of Peace and Dovish Powell. Stocks were higher on the back of both of those. Probably looking through very much rose-coloured glasses, I would have thought. As we can see here, the stock market, in the US rolling another 30%. Just looked to be fairly broad index buying realistically. There wasn't too much movement in the bonds. Bond market volatility has dropped considerably of late. We saw the Hang Seng Euro stocks and China A50 play a little bit of catch up. And some point from Chair Powell basically around the around interest rates. He wasn't particularly dovish. He just said that the Fed was open to multiple paths of policy, and as with the market at the moment, it is just buy on any news whatsoever. So they just took that as, so you're going to cut. He didn't say they were going to cut. He just said that they could possibly, it's one of the multiple paths that monetary policy could take. But you can't find it at the moment. We've had bombs drop in the Middle East. We've had the US strike a sovereign nation. We've got Trump's bill that hasn't passed for the tax cuts, the big beautiful bill, which I hate that term, but we've got to keep using it because it's been coined the phrase. We still don't have any trade deals done, yet the equity market is blindly optimistic as we stand at the moment, and will probably continue to be so given what's been thrown at it. So in terms of individual stocks, as you can see there, mainly just broader index buying overall. Apple down there. I mean, look, Apple is souring amongst investors. Fairly horrible attempt at coming into AI, and a great risk of being the next BlackBerry, in my opinion. Tesla came a little bit after being up 8% the previous night. I was on the back of the Austin, Texas robo-taxi launch, and an interview from on CNBC with Elon Musk saying that there could be hundreds of thousands of robo-taxis out there by next year. So basically, we've had about 750,000 rides a month with that Waymo or Waymo. I mean, look, Tesla has basically 2.5 billion more hours of automated driving logged in their system. So I would imagine that Tesla would, once they get launched with the robotaxi, that they're going to be the industry leader by a long, long way. And imagine the thought of you can buy a car now that can go out and drive itself and yield you money. So it really is a bit of a game changer for the likes of car ownership when it can actually be a yielding asset with some cash flow. So semiconductors are obviously up as well. I think that's just more index buying. I don't think there was anything specific in any of those. The oil sector there on the right-hand side, drifting off. If you bought any of those oil companies in the last week, in every single market prior to this market in 100 and so years of stock market history, you would have made a killing, and at this time you have lost money probably. So very, very hard market to pick at the moment. I think it was a little bit too risky taking on those oil and energy stocks, just on the basis that Trump's policy is to have energy prices down. And they had a quick resolution. I said that in Friday's pre-market pulse, and he's got a quick resolution essentially. So he's got a lot more now to, in his timeline ahead to get moving. So commodities, we're continuing to see platinum just keep rolling and rolling. Copper is showing some really nice price action at the moment. There was a slight breach of $5 a pound last night. There's talk of LME having shortages because it's a deliverable contract on the futures. So if you take your contract to expiry, you get delivered that copper. And the London Metals Exchange is saying that they don't have enough to, if everyone was to take delivery at this stage. Silver and gold drifting off, which you probably think is a little bit natural, considering the risk that's been taken out of the market. Very key point here for silver to hold this 35 to 36 level and stay above that breakout point, which was that 15-year high. Uranium continues to grind higher, and we will. I dare say it will continue to grind higher for the coming weeks. 11 weeks in a row now we've had a rally in uranium and uranium stocks. That is a record. It's the longest winning streak, and I don't see it ending at this point. Not in any dramatic form. With more and more deals just being signed every single day to be powering data centers, and obviously in cities with New York actually signed a deal to build their first nuclear power plant, which is the first new power plant in the US in something like 20 years. So that thematic will just continue to run and run and run as we as we get more and more demand from these AI data centers, which is a form of industrial revolution realistically. And I don't see the most cashed up companies and the most cashed up countries in the world, letting a shortage of power get in the way of this. It's also very key who is the leader in chips and AI for in the geopolitics realm as well. So again, we've got CPI today in Australia, 2.3 year on year expected. Fed power testifies again tonight. And I think we've got a few. Micron would probably be the largest one there in the US reporting. We've got Nike tomorrow, and then PCE towards the end of the week. Enjoy your day. I don't think we'll have too much of a big turn in the Aussie market. We saw most of that in the futures yesterday. That move had already really happened. Have a look at there could be some action in Zero today. They announced a $3.9 billion acquisition and to broaden their reach in the US. So there could be a little bit of action in there as well. Enjoy your day, and we'll speak tomorrow.